be happy to receive you as our special guest of honor as we celebrate the landmark age. We look forward to meeting you on the day and ask that you also pray along with us for a successful house outing. This invitation is actually for all members of the House. That's from Honorable Adewumi Oriyomi Ononuga. The date again is Monday, the 21st of June, 2021. Honourable members, good morning to you all, and I welcome you all back to the chambers of the House of Representatives. Honourable members, over the last couple of weeks across our country, there has been a marked increase in the incidence and severity of violent outbreaks, kidnapping, banditry, and murder in broad daylight. From Owerri in Imo State to Igogo in Oyo State, from Niger to Kaduna and across the states of the Northeast, we are witnessing bloodshed and violence of the sort usually associated with war. These are trying times for all our nation's people. Families are in mourning, communities are under siege, and even those who have thus far escaped the direct impact of the escalating violence cannot help but feel as if they are living on borrowed time. We are reminded of the urgent need for coordinated and targeted action by governments at all levels to address the menace and save our nation. 2 weeks ago, the House of Representatives hosted a special summit on national security to harness the views of citizens and stakeholders, experts from within and outside, to define a new strategy for combating the different manifestations of insecurity in our country. The contributions we received from across the country and the recommendations made therein have already begun to inform legislative action in the House of Representatives. Tomorrow, the House will begin consideration of a slate of bills intended to reform our national security statutory framework. We are seeking through legislation to address the issues of overlapping mandates, resulting in interagency rivalry and lack of cooperation among the security agencies. We are seeking to make community policing operational so that communities and the police can work together to protect our people across the country. We intend to change the way the armed forces conduct operations so that the three arms of our military can work more effectively together to overcome shared challenges. And we want to change the nature of interactions between the civilian population and the military so that the conflicts that breed resentment and undermine national security can be eliminated once and forevermore. These bills are only the first of the legislative interventions relating to national security that we will be considering. Also, the final report of the summit, including the recommendations for executive action, will shortly be presented to the House and to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammad Buhari, GCFR. I have his assurance that the painstaking recommendations made by the House will receive his full attention and accelerated action. Honorable colleagues, last week, the Special House Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution held a series of public hearings across the country to allow citizens to contribute their voices to the ongoing efforts to reform the Constitution of our country. At the public hearing in Lagos, I assured Nigerians that for us in the House of Representatives, this ongoing constitutional review presents a generational opportunity to devise a constitution that resolves the issues of identity and political structure, of human rights and the administration of government, resource control, national security, and so much else that have fractured our nation and hindered our progress and prosperity. Let me re-emphasize that we will not restrict ourselves to tinkering around the edges of the Constitution or be subject or be subject to red lines that mitigate against optimal outcomes. We have it now in our power to deliver a truly democratic constitution that allows us to overcome the challenges of today and puts us in good stead for the future. Honorable colleagues, bearing in mind our history and cognizant of our present circumstances, it is all too clear that the future is all we have. Let us do the work necessary to ensure that our tomorrow is better than all of our yesterdays. On Friday, the 4th of June, 2021, the federal government of Nigeria, through the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, announced the immediate suspension of the operations of the social media network Twitter in Nigeria. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, in his statement announcing the suspension, cited, and I quote, "the persistent use of the platform for activities that are capable of undermining Nigeria's corporate existence" as a reason for the decision to suspend the operations of Twitter in Nigeria. The suspension of Twitter in Nigeria has generated fierce debate. The House of Representatives has, since the announcement, been inundated with comments about the decision, requests for intervention and criticism. The House of Representatives recognizes that Twitter, like other social media networks, is an important tool for communication and for commerce in Nigeria, particularly among the younger generation who have used these networks for enterprise and innovation with great success. The House also recognizes that as social media has been a tool for good, it can also be a tool for bad actors. As such, the government has a legitimate interest in ensuring that these platforms are not used to commit vile actions against individuals and the state. The proper role of the legislature in circumstances like this is first to peel back the layers of the decision-making process to unravel the issues until we develop an understanding of the why and the how of executive decisions. Following that, the legislature must make sure that regulatory and enforcement actions by the government are in accordance with the laws of the land, that due process of law has been followed to the latter, and that the outcomes of regulatory decisions do not result in adverse consequences for the country and all our people. Fidelity to our responsibilities in situations like this require the legislature and legislators to, as in the words of Rudyard Kipling, keep your head when all about you are losing theirs. We listen to the agitation of the people, but we also hear from government, so that from the abundance of information, we reach the level of awareness that allows us to discharge our role dispassionately. It is in service of our obligations under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and our moral duty to the Nigerian people that the leadership of the House has mandated from today the House Committees on Communication, Justice, Information and Culture, and National Security and Intelligence to immediately commence an investigation to determine, 1, the circumstances of the decision by the federal government of Nigeria to ban the operations of Twitter in Nigeria, and 2, the legal authority for the ban on the operations of Twitter in Nigeria. The committees are additionally mandated to invite the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, to brief the House of Representatives on the objectives, intent, and duration of the suspension of Twitter in Nigeria, and to report to the House within 10 days. The joint report of the committees will guide further action by the House of Representatives on this matter. I urge the committees to act with speed and sound judgment to address this important issue that has animated our national conversations over the last few days. As we approach the halfway mark of our term in the House of Representatives, we must present a record of our activities over the last 2 years to the Nigerian people. As part of these efforts, I have requested the House Committee on Monitoring and Implementation of the Legislative Agenda to work with all the standing committees of the House of Representatives to assemble a record of their oversight activities. The chairman of the Committee on Monitoring and Implementation of the Legislative Agenda will share a reporting template that has been developed in collaboration with the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies for this purpose. I ask all the chairmen of committees to see to it that these reports are produced in good time and are of the highest quality. Honorable colleagues, I look forward to the important work that we will be doing over the rest of this session, and I welcome you back to the House of Representatives. And I thank you all once more for your presence this morning. Thank you. Any petitions?
Sorry, sorry, colleague. I think you mentioned it's put it to me or you? Me, sir. Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleague, I have a petition from the people of Obogoro community in Yenagwa local government of Bayelsa State. Today, sir, as I speak, the entire community is being washed away by erosion. I would like the House, Mr. Speaker, to look at the petition and refer to the ecological fund to take immediate action. Otherwise, we'll lose an entire community in Bayelsa State.
You may lay your petition. Any other petition? Your mic. Yeah, Honorable Dedere, your mic. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. My name is Honorable Haruna Isa Dedere, representing Kara Irogo Federal Constituency. I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I have some petitions to lay. One is against unlawful dismissal and wrongful imprisonment and violation of human rights against the Nigerian Navy. Two are against the Vice Chancellor of Federal University, Oye Ekiti, over certain crisis now going on in the university. And the last is an appeal against the outstanding payments of outstanding salaries and allowances. Mr. Speaker, may I seek your leave to lay the petitions? They have been duly signed and authenticated.
Go ahead. Any other petition on this side? No. Moving here. Mike. Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Ben Roland Igbakwa. I represent Ethiopia East, Ethiopia West, by the special grace of God, we're from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from one Mr. James Onyejekwe, the Managing Director of Kainos Exploration and Production Company, Nigeria Limited. He has a petition against the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and the Director, Department of Petroleum Resources, on the refusal to implement the approval granted by Mr. President on the oil mining lease 110. Mr. Speaker, his appeal is that this House has given justice to so many people, and we should, as a House, prevail on the Minister of Petroleum Resources to release the approval granted by the President since November 13, 2020, and to enable them to pay the outstanding debt. The two, that the House should stop the Minister of State for Petroleum from any move towards rewarding the oil mining lease to any other company. Mr. Speaker, your kind permission and the leave of the House, I beg to lay the petition.
Please go ahead.
Thank you.
Any more petitions on this column? Any more petition here or here?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Mukhtar Ahmed, politically known as Morovia. I have a petition against the Minister of State Petroleum, the Director, Department of Petroleum Resources, and Petron Energy Limited. The petition is on the breach of trust by these three parties against Euroafric Energy Limited. Mr. Speaker, I'm asking for your permission to lay this petition. Thank you.
Mukhtar, go ahead, please.
Order, please. Order, please. Order, please.
Any more petition? We move on to motions. Well, I will Mukhtar lay your petition so we can refer it. All petitions referred to the Committee on Public Petitions. Honorable Sununu.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Sadoki Yaudi. I rise under Order 8, Rule 4, on behalf of myself, Honorable Jacob Mohammed Umar, Honorable Abdullahi Umar Kamba, Honorable Isa Bashar, Honorable Kawaje Bello, and Honorable Yakub Bello, Honorable Ibrahim Tukura Kabir, and Honorable Mohammed Shehu Koko, present a motion of urgent public importance urging the federal government to provide emergency support to the victims, families of water boots mishap, and also to take proactive measures in preventing the incessant canoe mishap in the area. I so move, sir.
Any second? Isaka. No. Who's that? Your mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, Nalaraba, yeah.
Abubakar Hassan Nalaraba, representing the people of Awedo Makiana, Federal Constituency of Nasarawa State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my dear colleague, Honorable Sununu. I so second.
Those in favor, please say aye. That this motion is urgent enough. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Sununu.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the House notes that the recent boat mishap that occurred in water axis of River Niger was a national disaster. The capsized boat was ferrying over 165 people from Lokomina area in Niger State to Wara town of Kebbi State on Wednesday, 26th of May, 2021. There were only 22 survivors and 98 bodies recovered, with over 45 bodies so far missing. The victims were majority youth and women actively seeking for their means of livelihood. The House also notes that the canoe mishap have been a recurrent happening in the area and Kebbi State in general. For instance, in just 7 months in 2017, from the month of April to October, 33 deaths were recorded from 3 boat mishap in Yaouri Emirate, comprising of Ingaski, Shanga, and Yaouri.
Hello. Silence, please. Honorable Shaba, Honorable Salami, Honorable Luke, resume your seats.
Similarly, in recent times, the Kebbi Waterways recorded more than 8 boat mishaps, with over 246 people drowned in the river Niger in Yauri, Wara, Bagudo, Lolo areas of the state. The House observed that despite the recurrent nature of the boat mishap and loss of life, there was no emergency rescue boot available in the area. The House further observed waterways is a major means of transportation for the riverine dwellers in the area. It has, however, proven to be unsafe as currently practiced. The House is also aware that several correspondences were made by His Royal Highness, the Emir of Yauri, Dr. Mohammed Zayan Abdullahi, to Nigerian Inland Waterways, calling on measures to improve safety in our waterways in the area to avert accidents. However, not much was done until this national tragedy. The House is further aware that the access of River Niger to Kebbi State provide an international route for transportation from Yauri to Mali, Benin Republic, Niger Republic, and also Guinea Republic. Regrettably, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency does not have an office in the area to oversee this important international route. Further aware that Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority established with primary responsibility to improve and develop Nigerian Inland Waterways for navigation. Little has been done by the agency in the area. The House, once more, is aware that the federal government has inaugurated hydroelectric power producing areas.
Silence, please. Silence, please.
To address growing challenges, including environmental degradation.
Honorable Victor Wokolo, Honorable Maki, please.
In the area. Also further aware that there was intervention in the area. Cognizant that capsizing of the boats occurs mostly from April to October when the River Niger is receding, thereby exposing stump of trees and heavy rocks, leading to collision with trees or heavy rocks by canoe along the waterways. Also cognizant that the depth of the River Niger has significantly decreased due to accumulation of sand, as further reduces the safety of the inland waterways transportation in the area. Further cognizant that awareness of the utilization of life jacket by passengers is nearly non-existent. The House therefore resolved: 1. Urge the federal government through the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide immediate emergency relief support to survivors and families of the deceased victims of boat mishap. 2. Urge the Federal Ministry of Transportation through NIMASA and NIWA to find causes of incessant boat mishap. 3. Urge NIMASA and NIWA to establish functional offices in Yauri. 4. Urge NIMASA and HAPADEC, Hydropower Producing Areas Development Commission, to collaborate to improve safety by clearing of waterways through blasting of heavy stones, cutting of stump of trees, and putting floating markers along the waterways. Urge the federal government to extend dredging of River Niger from Baro through Yauri to Lolo, through Yauri and to Lolo. 6. Call on relevant authorities to ensure use of life-based to control use of life-based and also to control overload. 7. Call on the federal government to establish a mini port at Yauri to further improve on security, as the route provides an international waterways connection to the country. Finally, call on federal government to station an emergency boot in both Yauri and Shanga for emergency rescue operation. And finally, to call on the Committee on Maritime Administration and Safety to ensure compliance. Thank you. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Henry Wauba, can you second the motion, please?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Henry Wauba, representing the enterprising people of Mbitoli Kedu Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Okay, I think this is straightforward, Honorable Suru. It's about the misfortune that happened in Kebbi. Do you just want to say one or two things, then we put the question? Or do we just go ahead and put the question because of time? What? Okay, straightforward, yes, about what happened in Kebbi State. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Who's that? Who's that? The person that said nay, can you stand up and oppose the motion? Let's debate it. Oppose the motion. Okay, it was a ghost that said no. It was a ghost. The ayes have it. Honorable Rhino.
Thank you very much, our Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I am Honorable Dr. Ajibola Muraina. I represent Ibarapa Central, Ibarapa North Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I am from Oyo State. Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I have a motion on the unfortunate incident of the invasion of Igangan town in Ibarapa North local government. Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, in moving this motion, 78 of our honorable colleagues from the 6 geopolitical zones are with me. Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, my applications are two-legged. First, I want to seek the leave and indulgence of this honorable house to consider the unfortunate invasion of Igangan town, where the palace was desecrated.
Please, silence, please. Silence, please. Honorable Abbas, Honorable Sumaila, resume your seats. Honorable members, please, silence, please. Honorable Abbas, Honorable Sumaila, resume your seats.
Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, my application before this honorable house is in two legs, or in two legs. First, I want to seek the leave and indulgence of this house to consider the invasion of Igangan town in the Ibarapa North local government in the wee hours of the 5th of June 2021 as one of urgent public importance. Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, during the unfortunate incident, the palace of Ashigangan, the Oba of the community, was burnt down, was desecrated. Several trucks of vehicles were burnt down and several other things happened. I also, in the second leg, pray that I be allowed to move the application right away.
Any second to the motion, please.
First one to order 8, move
okay.
So 1 and 3, sir.
All right. Second down. Your mic. Honorable Jimo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Jimo Olushola Ujubile, member representing Ado Dota Federal Constituency. I hereby second the first and second leg of the motion Moved by Donald Brano.
Well, we'll just put the question to the two legs at the same time. That is important enough, and I will take it today. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Motion.
I move as follows. The House notes with serious concern the invasion by suspected armed bandits of Igangan Town, Ibarakpa North Local Government Area of Oyo State, at the wee hours of Saturday, 5th of June 2021. The House also notes with dismay that the assailants in their large numbers invaded the town around 11:30 p.m. on motorcycles and allegedly opened fire without any provocation on innocent, defenseless and harmless indigents. The House is disheartened that as a result of this attack on Igangan town, it is alleged that over 50 harmless indigents of the town were killed in cold blood. About 90 others sustained life-threatening injuries. 50 houses, including the palace of the Oba of the town, Ashigagan Figagan, petrol stations, houses, shops, trucks, and other properties worth millions of naira were razed down by the assailants. The House recalls that the Barakpasis of Oyo State has been the hotbed of several violent clashes between the bandits and the indigenous farmers, which generated national outcry, and Igangan town appeared to be the center of this crisis. And all attempts by the federal government and Oyo State government to find a permanent solution to the crisis appear not to be successful so far. The House recalls that on the prompting of members representing the Ibarakpa Central, Ibarakpa North Federal Constituency, members from Oyo State, and the unanimous support of other members of the House of Representatives, this hallowed chamber has passed several resolutions urging the federal government and the relevant security agencies to, amongst others, upgrade the Igangan police station to the divisional police headquarters and put in place measures to strengthen the security architecture of Igangan town, Oyo State, and all the other states in Nigeria. But all these do not avail. The House is worried that due to this last attack, residents of Igangan town and the Barakpasis of Oyo State are relocating from the town or the area in droves, which is likely to paralyze the economic and social activities of the town or area, and which has indeed paralyzed them. The House is apprehensive that this last attack is capable of escalating the already tense security situation in Igangan town, Oyo State, and almost all the states in Nigeria, if the assailants are not apprehended and brought to justice. The House resolves, A, to condemn the callous and barbaric invasion of Igangan town in the wee hours of 5th June 2021, which resulted to the deaths of over 50 defenseless indigents of the town.
Honorable members that have lined up to see Mr. Speaker, except Honorable Dr. Sununu, all the rest should step down. Honorable members that have lined up to see Mr. Speaker, except Honorable Dr. Sununu, all the rest should step down.
The House resolves, A, to condemn the callous and barbaric invasion of Igangan town in the wee hours of the 5th June 2021, which resulted to the deaths of over 50 defenseless indigents of the town and the razing to ashes and destruction of several houses, including the palace of the Oba of the town, Ashigagan Figagan, petrol stations, shops, trucks, and other properties worth millions of naira by the assailants. The House resolves to condole with the government of Oyo State the families and friends of all those who lost their lives as a result of the invasion. The House resolves to observe a minute of silence in honor of all those who lost their lives. The House resolves to direct NEMA and other relevant agencies to provide relief materials to assist all those whose properties or businesses were destroyed as a result of the invasion. The House resolves to direct the Inspector General of Police to intensify
Honorable Chairman House Services. He will see you. Continue, please.
The House resolves to direct the Inspector General of Police to intensify his efforts with a view to arresting the assailants, prosecuting them, and preventing reoccurrence. The House resolves to urge the people of Igangan Town and the Ibarapa as a whole to calm down and report any suspicious persons to the relevant law enforcement agencies. Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I thank you for this indulgence. I move in terms of the motion papers. I beg to move.
Any Secretary Rotimi? Honorable Rotimi, what's wrong with your microphone? Can we get somebody else to second? Honorable Rotimi's microphone is not working.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Dear colleagues, my name is Honorable Rotimi Agusoye, representing Koshope Federal Constituency of Lagos. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second this motion, moved by my colleague from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, if I'm permitted, I have seconded the motion. Mr. Speaker, I have seconded the motion. If I am permitted to speak to this motion, please, sir, let me speak to the motion.
You second first.
I have seconded the motion, sir.
You have seconded, okay. Now we only have time for either the mover to give 1 minute because there's so much. It's 12:30, and if the mover is ready to yield his 1 minute to you, then he can do that. So between you guys can settle for. I'll talk. Chairman business.
No, go ahead. Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I yield the floor to him, and I know there may be one or two other people too who may want to make amendments. Thank you, sir.
All right, hurry up. Honorable Rotimi, the floor is yours. 1 minute so that we can put the question.
Speaker, dear colleagues, my name is Honorable Rotimi Agusoye.
What's your point of order, Honorable Bamidele?
Representing.
What's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, my name is Bamidele Salam. I represent Ede North, Ede South, Ebedore, Jibu Federal Constituency of Osun State. I rise this morning to raise a point of order on Order 9, Rule 9 of this Honorable House, Mr. Speaker.
What page is that?
The soft copy, Mr. Speaker, I'm using the soft copy on the item here. I assume it should be on page 22. Is what I have on the soft copy here. Order 9, Rule 9 of this Honorable House, which states, and I read, Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, that during a sitting, all members shall be silent
or shall confer only in undertones. Mr. Speaker, with due respect, the issues being discussed this morning are too germane, too sober, too heart-wrenching for the kind of rowdiness that we're having in the House. We are discussing loss of life when Honorable Dr. Sununu was speaking about over 70 people killed in his home state of Kebbi State. The same thing in Oyo State. And then we have a lot of noise and distractions here and there. Mr. Speaker, with due respect, I think this is a violation of this order, which requires that all members should be silent or speak in undertones when sitting is ongoing. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Salam. Your point of order is sustained. Honorable members, please, this is an important issue. Indeed, all issues that come up on the floor are very important, but this is particularly important as enunciated by Honorable Salam. Please, let's dignify the motion with our silence as per our rules. Sustained.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Dear colleagues. Dear colleagues, my name is Honorable Prince Rotimi Agunsoye, representing Koshofe Federal Constituency of Lagos. Dear colleagues, the most hated person in the world is the person that speaks the truth. And people will not want to listen to the truth because they do not want their illusion destroyed. Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, I think enough is enough. We need to address the main issue now. The role of government in governance is to protect lives and property of the people and to provide welfare for the people. Mr. Speaker, we are fair in all this. My other colleague dear Sununu said over 70 people were killed. My dear state said were killed. Somebody from Imo said have been killed. Go to the northeast, north central, northwest, southeast, southwest, south. Our people have been killed. It is important we address this, Mr. Speaker. Fighter jets moving here and there, they will address this issue. Something has to be done, Mr. Speaker. I submit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Rotimi. We feel your passion. I think we're all on the same page. We're all on the same page. Hence the security summit we had last week. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Is Honorable Francis Agbo here? Honorable Francis, go ahead very quickly.
Silence, please. Silence, please. All members should resume their seats, please. Honorable Dambata, Chairman House Service, resume your seats, please.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. I remain the Honorable Francis Otagbo. I speak for the long-suffering people of Abdo Poko Badibo Federal Constituency. I am proudly Benue, the food basket state. Honorable Speaker, I rely on Order 8 and the combined rule of Rule 4 and 7 to move a motion of urgent national and public importance on the killing of 130 Izzi people in my federal constituency, precisely in Ekle ward of Ado local government of Benue State. I don't want to listen to my emotion.
Go ahead. We are going for prayers.
Go ahead, Honorable Francis.
Mr. Speaker, on the 30th of May, 130 of my constituents were murdered.
Hold on, Honorable Francis. Hold on, please. For those who are exiting the chambers for whatever meeting you are going for, can you please exit and leave those of us in chambers alone and quiet, please? Somebody is moving a motion, we can't even hear a thing. Honorable Rotimi, can you please leave the chambers with the same passion that you spoke? Leave quickly, please. Honorable Francis.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying that I have a motion of public importance on the killing of 130 of my constituents, precisely the Izzi people in Ekle ward of Ado local government, Benue State. And I'm relying on Order 8, Rule 4 and 7. And I want to seek the indulgence of Mr. Speaker to allow me to read my motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No.
Are you done? Okay, seconder, Osby.
Thank you, all right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Gono Siribu. I represent the good people of Unkwere, Legislature, Nigerian Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion of urgent public importance raised by my colleague, Honorable Francis. I do a second.
Those in favor of that this motion is urgent, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Francis, please move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House knows that in the wee hours of Sunday, 30th May 2021, gunmen believed to be Fulani mercenaries invaded Izzi communities in Ekile and Ijuban wards in Ado local government of Benue State and butchered about 130 innocent Izzi people. The communities invaded are Ndobasi, Ataloga, Odoke, Ndigwe, Ekpufu, all in Ekile ward, while many people were also killed in Obakoto village in Ijuban ward. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, these wards are my direct constituency. I hail from Ijuban ward. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the gunmen were believed to have carried out this heinous crime to avenge the killing of one of their own, a Fulani header known as Alhaji Isa Musa in Ataloga. Alhaji Musa was reportedly killed by 4 IPOB and ESN members while returning from the popular Ndobasi market in Ekile ward in February this year. IPOB indeed openly claimed responsibility for the act, and the Benue State government promptly arrested the culprits and handed them over to the police, and they have since been prosecuted and convicted. Also aware that I joined the Benue State government to intervene on the matter and assuage the family of Alhaji Musa. We indeed reached a truce, but our efforts turned out to be peace of the graveyard as the family of Alhaji Musa allegedly mobilized mercenaries and launched savage attack on the peaceful and law-abiding members of my constituency, who knew nothing about the killing of Musa. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I also joined His Excellency the Deputy Governor of Benue State, Engineer Benson Abonu, to Ekile town to condole with the people. Also notes that as the direct representatives of the people, I personally visited Ndobasin and all the Ezi communities where the killings took place last week. I also made donations to the Ezi communities and all the IDP camps on behalf of the Benue State government. Aware that a total number of 130 people were murdered by the government and have since been buried, while people who were injured are still receiving treatment in the neighboring hospitals. The multi-billion naira Ndobasi popular market was raised down, and I wept profusely at citing the carnage unleashed on my people. Oh, my people, my dear people of Ezi. Aside the invasion of a clay ward by the Fulani government, there is ongoing crisis between the Eza and Effiong people, principally in Ulai district of Ado local government of Benue State, which has led to a spiral of killings with thousands rendered homeless, as well as the destruction of property and businesses running into billions of naira in the popular Inikiri market. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the Ulai crisis emanated from Ohaku local government of Ebonyi State, where the Effiong and Eza took arms against one another over a mere National Union of Road Transport Workers election, but spilled to Ado, where we also have a sizable number of Eza and Effiong people as my constituents. Also note that the Fulani-induced carnage in Ezi communities and the Effiong-Eza crisis have left in their wake gory tales of woes, agonies of refugees, spilling of innocent blood, and avoidable humanitarian crisis. Consequently, several IDP camps have been created in Ado to provide temporary shelter to the refugees. The House resolves to urge the National Emergency Management Agency to promptly provide relief materials to the affected Ezi communities in Ado local government. The House also urged the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster and Social Development to pay the medical bills of the surviving victims and grant them COVID-19 loans or grants to pick the pieces of their lives. The House urged the federal government, precisely the Inspector General of Police,
Honorable Salame, your time is off. You are distracting, Mr. Speaker.
Mobile police posts in all the border wards of Ado, namely
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Kulai, and Akko.
Who's raising point of order?
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata, present Berniwa Krika Samba Kuli Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I am coming under Order 8, Rule 4, Sub-Rule 2, 3, 4, and 5, which reads as follows. Matters of urgent public importance shall seek to address any of the following. 1. Immediate threat to lives and properties. 2. If the matter is allowed to persist and not addressed immediately, it may A. lead to breakdown of law and order, B. cause serious damage or total destruction of federal government-owned or controlled infrastructure or national monument or a World Heritage Center. 3. Any matter considered to be urgent by Mr. Speaker. 3. If the claim is allowed by the Speaker and the leave of the House is given by majority of all members present, the matter shall stand over till the next day, till the next legislative day. 4. Not more than 2 of such motions should be made at the same sitting. And third, any other matter shall be on notice only. Mr. Speaker, I'm making this information available to all members, which they very well know, but it's being abused on daily basis by members. What? So, Mr. Speaker, I think members should take note, because it is costing us a lot of legislative time. They know that the rules do not allow more than 2 motions, but they still insist on making this thing. So we should put a stop to this practice, and we should also implement the rule. Not once you move a motion of urgent national importance, it will not be taken immediately. That's what our rule says. It will be taken the next day. So, Mr. Speaker, these are the issues I want to raise. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hope all members have heard the chairman business and rules. I think you are actually correct. We have defined what urgent public importance is. We have defined it. So it's not everything that comes under urgent public. Everything else other than that, that does not meet the definition in the rules, comes under notice. So let us stick to our rules, understand what urgent public importance is, and comply with those rules. Although, Chairman, there's an omnibus clause that allows the Speaker to give him discretion on any matter that he considers urgent enough. So, but even with that, members are abusing it, and even I think sometimes the Speaker abuses it too. So I think we should see, the first thing is to look at the definition. It is only at rare occasions that I can even say, okay, you are allowed. And then the issue of two matters in one day, I don't think that allows me any discretion. From what you've read, it says must. Only two can be taken unless we suspend our rules. That is, unless we suspend our rules. And I think we suspended this one. I think we suspended this one. But it is important. Otherwise, we can be here. Everybody wants urgent public importance when we have there's no more motion on notice, and we'll be here till 2, 3, and we'll be able to go to the other paper. I'm very liberal and compassionate. Next time I'll get the DS to come and preside. Honorable Francis, go ahead. Your point of order is sustained, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House urged the federal government, precisely the Inspector General of Police, to establish police posts in all the border wards of other local government, namely Ekile, Ijiban, Ulai, and Akogogbolo wards, as these wards are currently without police posts. And this has actually exposed the area to terrible insecurity. The House also praised the governor of Benue State for his political will to enforce the law establishing the volunteer guard, which empowers Benue citizens to carry legitimate...
Honorable Yusuf Gandhi, please approach the chair.
And finally, the House urged NEMA to provide relief materials to the IDP camps and those who have been displaced by the EZA and Effiong crisis in other local government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Seconder. Honorable Mike. Seconder, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Put on your mic. Your mic. Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, respected colleagues. I remain Honorable Vincent Ekene Ofumelo. I represent the good people of Anambra State, starting from Oyo Foyi and I am a federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second this very important motion moved by my colleagues. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues.
Those in favor of this motion, please say aye. Those against it, say nay. Ayes have it. Yes, go ahead.
Excellency, the Speaker, my name is Ahmed Idris. I represent Waterways constituency. Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 8, Rule 5, and it really does, sir. By the indulgence of the House and the leave of the Speaker, a member may make a personal explanation, although there have been no question before the House, but no controversial matter may be brought forward or may debate arising from the explanation. The terms of the personal of the statement shall be submitted in extenso to the Speaker when his leave to make it sought. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, 2 days ago, a very powerful committee was sent to Kebbi State to commiserate with the people of Kebbi State on the mishap that happened of the boat accident, particularly in Yawuri Emirate, Mr. Speaker. About 98 bodies have been recovered or were recovered as of the time of our visit. Mr. Speaker, we were in Kebbi and we delivered the message of the House on behalf of the House to the government and people of Kebbi State. We also proceeded to Yawuri, where we sent the same and gave the same condolence message and communicated with them. Mr. Speaker, like it was captured in the contribution of Honorable Rotimi, what happened there wasn't killing by the guns, but an accident. Though government should have concern, and we have concern, but I think there was misinformation from what he presented, and I think it's most important to correct. Mr. Speaker, we didn't just go there empty-handed. You gave us about 5 million naira to give to the accident of families of the deceased through the Emir of Yawuri. Mr. Speaker, you recall too, you are bestowed with a very onerous and then big title of Sadokin Yawuri, the title that was occupied by the by the Emir. That was his last title, meaning it's a very revered title. And when we were there, Mr. Speaker, I know that first there was an attempt, or there was a decision by the Emirate to confer on you or to ban you officially, but because of the mood of the nation, you asked us to ask the Emir to defer the ceremony. This was done to show appreciation and then concern as to what is happening in the nation. He has graciously accepted that and accepted our sympathy and asked us to tell the House of Representatives of his appreciation and then identifying with the Emirate. Mr. Speaker, Sununu has brought a very good motion, but I think there is a lot to be done. What happened in the accident has to do with the construction of Kainji Dam, and the matter has been recurring decimal year after year because of debris uncleared as of the time the dam was being constructed. Apart from that, the dredging, which is supposed to be done by the Federal Inland Waterways, has never been done, even for once, from the construction of a Kainji Dam. So it is a kind of cumulative effect of a problem over years. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, we gave our words as Nigerians, as leaders, that by the grace of God, we shall collaborate with the executive to ensure the remedy of that problem. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, it is my pleasure and honor to present to you, by your leave, the letter of confinement of Sadoki Yawuri to you officially, because this is an honor done to the House, not to you. It is an honor done to all of us. Thank you very much. These are my submissions, Mr. Speaker.
Certificate of conferment of the title Sadauki Yauri. I guess that makes me a kingmaker. Yes. For those of you who do not know the full history of the Sadauki Yauri, you can talk to any of the people from Kebbi or Dr. Sununu. So now you are not just looking at the speaker, you are looking at the Sadauki Yauri. Thank you very much. And on behalf on a more serious note, I want to appreciate the Emir of Yauri and the people of Kebbi State for this great honor done not just to me, I believe to the entire House. I truly appreciate it. It shows that when we really can be one in this country, because to confer such a prestigious title to somebody from the southwestern part of the country, it shows that this country is bound together in unity and progress. So I thank the Emir on behalf of the people of all the members of the House of Representatives. And on that note, if we may, can we please stand for 1 minute silence for the those who have lost their lives both in Oyo State and in Kebbi, and the unfortunate mishaps in both states and other parts of Nigeria. May the souls of the departed rest in peace. Leader. Oh.
Yes, sir. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Ado Dogwa is my name. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I represent the people of Dogwa, Tudunwada Federal Constituency. I am from Kano State. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, may I seek the leave of the chair and honorable members to still ride on the personal explanation raised and concluded by the Deputy Speaker. Your Excellency.
Silence, please. Silence, please.
I crave your indulgence and the indulgence of the House. Mr. Speaker, having received this great honor from the Emirate of Yauri, the Kingdom of Yauri, a very historic kingdom in the north and in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I would like to take your leave and the leave of the House to please read out the very honorable wordings of this certificate of conferment of the title of Sadauki Yauri to the institution of the House of Representatives, like the Deputy Speaker has rightly said, and of course to our leader, the Speaker of the 9th House of Representatives. I know it might look a little bit repetitive of what the Deputy Speaker did, but I crave the indulgence of the chair and the House to read it out, please. Your Excellency, certificate of conferment of the title Sadauki Yauri. The people of the ancient kingdom of Yauri, Yauri Emirate, Kebbi State of Nigeria, Under the leadership of His Royal Highness, Dr. Muhammad Zayanu Abdullahi CON, the 42nd Emir of Yaouri, do hereby, in accordance with our customs and traditions, confer the title of Sadauki Yaouri to the Right Honorable Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Abdul Hakim Bajabia Mila. This conferment is a recognition of his outstanding service to humanity. Signed under my seal, which means his seal, the Emir of Yaouri, on the 6th day of June 2021. His Royal Highness Dr. Mohammed Zayanu Abdullahi CON, the Emir of Yaouri. Mr. Speaker, I so read, and I would like to join the Deputy Speaker and indeed all other members of this very important chamber to congratulate you, your family, and by extension, the great people of Lagos and the southwestern Nigeria for being a bridge builder. We will continue to be proud of you for what you are doing in terms of commitment to service to our nation, our country, Nigeria, and also building the bridge across Niger, left, right, and center. Mr. Speaker, I once again congratulate you for this conferment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless you and bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leader of the House. Now move on to the next business of the day. Point of order, Honorable Chinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, Kingsley Chinda. I represent Tobiabo Federal Constituency. I'm an Ikore man from River State. Mr. Speaker, I am very grateful for yielding the floor to me. My point of order is in on Order 6 of the House Rules. Mr. Speaker, Order 6 provides for privileges. And Order 6 provides that in so doing, one should clearly state the laws that were breached. And so, Mr. Speaker, I stand on Section 39(1) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and Article 9 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, as a representative of the people, I have a source of communication with my constituents. I have a source of interaction with Nigerians. But in moving this, I must, with every sense of responsibility, Mr. Speaker, commend the step you took this morning concerning this issue of ban on Twitter. Very proactive, very timely, very apposite. But, Mr. Speaker, my concern is that as a Nigerian, and for several other Nigerians out there, the implication is that for 10 days that we have given our committee to work, that this breach will continue. And we don't even know how long thereafter that our interaction with the executive arm will last. Mr. Speaker, whilst I agree with the submission, with the position of the leadership of this House in total, I will only want to add that for breach of fundamental human rights, particularly right to fair hearing, right to freedom of speech and expression, that we should urge the executive arm in the interim, I use the word urge, the executive arm, in the interim, to reverse this order, pending the outcome of our interaction with the executive arm.
Thank you, Honorable Chinda.
Yes, sir.
Let me very quickly, so that we can move along, refer you to Order 9, Rule 1, Sub-Rule 6 of our rules. I shall also assist you in reading it out for clarity.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, let me read.
It shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question upon which the House has come to a conclusion during the current session, except upon the substantive motion of rescission. The matter has been sent to the relevant committees to investigate and look into the issues that you are talking about, and they will report to us within 10 days. That is what we're, even if we have brought a motion here, we would have referred it to the same committee, and your motion may even have been killed, we don't know. So this way, we have even saved the day. The institution will look into it. In 10 days, we'll know what action to take. And you have not complied with the Order 9, Rule 6. You're ruled out of order.
Mr. Speaker,
please, Chinda, please be guided.
Mr.
Please.
Speaker, if I will be heard.
Please
The
be
next
guided.
order of the day.
Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, if I will only be heard.
The next order of the second business of the day is presentation of three reports of the committee.
Already the speaker has already ruled on it. Please resume your seat. You know the rules better. You know how to come back. You know the rules better. If you are so passionate about it, you know how to come back.
Well, Mr. Speaker, in the circumstance, for PDP members, we have agreed we'll continue.
The next order of the day
Please, Chinda, please, you are a ranking member.
is the first reading.
We'll continue to tweet.
Please,
we are with Nigerians. And if the Attorney General wants to...
Get out if you want to go. Go.
Where is it? Chair Clerk. Where is it here? Where is it? I don't see it in my... Honorable Gagdi.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, my name is Yusuf Adamu Gagdi. I represent Panshinkanke Kanam Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 6, Rule 3 to 7, to explain on a matter that I stormed on during my reading on the pages of newspaper and other print publication, particularly the Prime Times of Nigeria. I so move, Mr. Speaker. And the thing is simple. I saw it clearly on the print media, Prime Time, that Nigerian lawmakers threatened to ground plenary if Bajabi Emila and other members prevent debates. It's a fundamental breach on my right as a member sitting to represent the people of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, what just happened is an insult to the Nigerian people that elected us to be here, and it shows that it is pre-planned. If the Prime Time have published that members of the National Assembly elected by the people of Nigeria who ought to be fighting on the killings in the four angles of Nigeria, who ought to support your leadership in coming up with summit and other programs that is aimed at finding a line to the killing in the north, in the south, and in the four angles of this country, will come together to say that they will frustrate our effort toward ensuring that Nigeria live well, toward ensuring that we have come up with legal that will ensure the safety, the freedom, the peace, the protection of lives and properties of this country. It is very unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, some certain group of parliament cannot suffocate an arm of government and cannot consider Parliament of Nigeria as a department of the executive arm of government, where they turn the decision of this house the way they want to do. Mr. Speaker, your speech speak volume. The matter important move by including my brother from Benue, Francis Abo, where he clearly pointed out that an action meted by
some group that killed Benue State was meted on innocent Benue citizen that knows nothing. Mr. Speaker, it is high time we become disciplinarian. It is high time, Mr. Speaker, this parliament become a parliament of law and order. It is high time, Mr. Speaker, this parliament show good example as a people and a product of the people of this country. We are seated here, Mr. Speaker, serving governance, calling the parliament, they see no need, instigating Nigerians that conference should be conducted when under the leadership of the we are mandated to make any adjustment that will better the lot of this country, and we allow ourselves to be torn like a toy. Mr. Speaker, I pray that these privileges that is being broken, this plan by some lawmakers that perhaps they don't understand why their people voted them here. We are not, Mr. Speaker, I myself, I know my constituents, how many of them operate Twitter. I am not appreciating or approving the actions of the government since it is your leadership, but again, we must not agree with the conspiracy to simply because something did not favor you. I am a Nigerian, Mr. Speaker. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, and I don't say it in my mouth, I mean it in my heart. I promise to be loyal and honest to this country. How many of us does our of this thing in the portray to us as parliament that really read the national pledge? Are they loyal to this country? Mr. Speaker, I'm a Nigerian, and I have hope that one day Nigeria will live in peace with one another. I have hope that one day Nigeria, I have hope that I have not paid fail as a parliament. I move, Mr. Speaker, that this action must be investigated, must be referred to a committee on ethics. Application come and I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Gagdi. I think we should rest this matter and not take any more points of order on this matter. It's unfortunate that seasoned parliamentarians who should know better decide to follow a different route, whether to play to the gallery or for whatever reason. But I believe that as parliamentarians, we have a duty and a responsibility to do what we believe is right. We have set up an investigative, we've sent this matter to 4 relevant committees: security, information, and culture, ICT, and justice, to look into the matter and report to us in 10 days. That's what we are supposed to do as parliamentarians. We're supposed to hold a balance of checks and balances, but you cannot check and balance until you know and you unravel the truth. And that's exactly what we have done. At first, I thought it was a partisan move, but I'm so glad, and I'm happy to see several members of the opposition still here in chambers with us, and I commend you for your non-partisanship. Thank you very much. So we'll move on. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 6 bills. I now invite the clerk to read their short title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill, first reading. Specialized National Dermatology Hospital Establishment Bill 2021, first reading. Federal University of Technology Yaba Establishment Bill 2021, first reading. Federal University Berenin Kebi Establishment Bill 2021, first reading. National Agency for the Production, Management and Control of Sugarcane, Makarfi Establishment Bill 2021, first reading. Federal Universities of Agriculture and Technology Establishment ETC Bill 2021, first reading.
The second business of the day is presentation of 3 reports of the Committee on Basic Education and Services, standing in the name of Honorable Julius Uyobere. Honorable Uyobere is invited to present the report.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Professor Julius Ihanvere, representing Owan Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to present the report on behalf of the committee that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Basic Education and Services on a bill for an act to provide for the compulsory teaching of safety, security, and intelligence studies and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to present that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Basic Education and Services on a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council Act. Mr. Speaker, the third report is on behalf of the committee that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Basic Education and Services on the need to proffer lasting solutions on the millions of out-of-school children in Nigeria. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Any seconder? Honorable Kumo, please second.
Federal Constituency, I hereby second the motion I hereby has moved.
Honorable Julius, please can you lay your report? Or first of all, let me put the question. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against it, say nay. Ayes have it. Please lay your report. The third business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Public Accounts on the deliberate and reckless refusal by ministries, departments, and agencies of government to render audited accounts for the period 2014 to 2018 to the Auditor General for the Federation, standing in the name of Honorable Oluwole Oke. Honorable members, we recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 10th December 2019. Report is ready for presentation. Honorable Oke is invited to present the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my fellow colleagues. I am Oluwole Oke, representing the Ijesha North. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osun State. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, may I move that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Public Accounts on the deliberate and reckless refusal by ministries, departments, and agencies of government to render audited accounts for the period 2014 to 2018 to the Auditor General of the Federation. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Blessing. Sorry, Honorable President, I can't. All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Blessing Onyecheonu, and I represent the good people of Otupo Ohimini Federal Constituency. I am from Benue State. I rise to second the report moved by Honorable Wole Oke. I so second.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Wole, okay, approach the leader quickly.
And it was working. Respected colleagues, the fourth business of the day is presentation of 3 reports of the Committee on Public Petitions. Turning now Honorable Jerry Alagbas. Honorable Alagbas is invited to present the reports.
Thank you, my wonderful speaker, my colleagues. My name is Jerry Alaboso. I'm from Imo State, representing our law of 200 Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, I rise to present 3 reports. Arising from petition by welfare associations on behalf of Nigerian Police. Now arising from Danusa and 12 others against Minister of Aviation. Another one arising from implementation of the resolution of 15904 by Fresh Air, urban development by Mrs. Ahebu and 2 others. Mr. Speaker, I so present.
Honorable Blessing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I remain Blessing Onyechonu, representing the people of Otupo Ohimini Federal Constituency. I am from Benue State, and I rise to second the report presented by Honorable Jerry. I so second.
Those in support of the motion say aye. Aye. Against say nay. That's savage. Honorable Jerry, go ahead and lay a report. Respected colleagues, the first order of the day is the 3rd reading of the bill for an act to make agricultural science a core and compulsory subject in secondary schools in Nigeria and for related matters. Honourable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Wednesday, 28th April 2021. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read the 3rd time.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable members. Dogwa is my name. Mr. Speaker, I represent the good people of Dogwa, Chudunwada Federal Constituency. Honorable members, I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I rise to move that the bill as stated as item 1, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, a bill for an act to make agricultural science a core and compulsory subject in the secondary schools in Nigeria, and for related matters, HB 244 be read the 3rd time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Seconder, acting whip.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abdurazak Saad Namdas. I represent the good people of Ganye, Jada, Tongo, Maui Belwa. I'm from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the third reading of this bill as moved by the leader. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Respected colleagues, the question now that those in favor that bill read third time say aye. Against any, that's have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to make agricultural science a core and compulsory subject in secondary schools in Nigeria and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read and at the third time and passed. Respected colleagues, the second order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Council for Management Development Act, Cap N99, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, and the National Center for Economic Management and Administration Act, Cap N14, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian Council for Management Development Bill and for related matters. All members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Thursday, 28 March 2021. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read the third time.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, I rise to move that a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Council of Management Development Act, Cap 99, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and National Center for Economic Management and Administration, Cap 14, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigeria Council for Management Development Bill 2021 and for related matters, HB 1119, be read the third time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Seconder. Yes, sir.
Colleagues, my name is Vincent Ekene Ofumelu, Esquire. I represent the good people of Oyi, and I am in federal constituency. I am from Anambra State, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the report as it moves by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The question now is that those in favor that the bill be read the third time say aye. Against any, the ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title for the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Council for Management Development Act, Cap N99, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and National Center for Economic Management and Administration Act, Cap N14, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigeria Council for Management Development Bill 2021 and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Respected colleagues, the third order of the day is the reading of a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Cap A12, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Thursday, 28 May 2021. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read the third time.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, once again I am Ado Dogwa, representing the good people of Tudunwada Dogwa Federal Constituency. Honorable members, by the grace of God and your leave, the Leader of the 9th House of Representatives, may I move that a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act, Cap A12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters, HB 69, be read the third time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, I rise to second the move the motion ably moved by the leader for the bill to be read the third time. I'm Honorable Lawa Shetima, representing Bursari Gairemi Dusari, from your sir.
I so second.
The question is now those in favor that the bill read that and say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act, Cap 812, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for related matters, third reading.
Bill read the third term and pass. Respected colleagues, the third order of the day is the reading of a bill for an act to the fourth order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Health Insurance Development Bank to enhance and promote the health and well-being of Nigerians of all walks of life, to boost local healthcare capacity and related matters. Honourable members will recall that the bill that has adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Thursday, 28 May 2021, therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read third time.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I rise to move that a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Health Infrastructure Development Bank to enhance and promote the health and well-being of Nigerians of all walks of life, to boost local healthcare capacity, and for related matters, HB 908 be read the third time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Honorable Sada.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Sada Soli. I represent Jibia Kaita Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion to read for the third time House Bill number 908. I so move.
Colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Health Infrastructure Development Bank to enhance and promote the health and well-being of Nigerians of all walks of life, to boost local healthcare capacity and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and pass. Respected colleagues, the fifth order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to amend the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control Act, Cap N1, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters. Honorable members would recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Thursday, 28 May 2021. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read the third time.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I also thank the Chairman, House Committee on Rules and Business for putting all these businesses, about 5 at the same time for me to handle. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control Act, Cap 1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters, HB 168, be read the third time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Honorable Gideon Goni, the Leader of the Minority, I so move.
Seconder, KLM.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues. My name is Kolawole Lawal. I represent Yewa South, Ikokia Federal Constituency. I'm from Ogun State, the Gateway State. I rise to second the motion that the bill, House Bill 168, be read a third time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the bill be read the third time, say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control Act, Cap N1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and pass. Respected colleagues, the sixth order of the day is consideration of two bills. It's consolidation of two bills. All members may wish to know that the bill
are on the same subject matter. I now invite the Chairman, Committee on Rules and Business to move that the bills be consolidated.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Borneo Akrika Samaguri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move for the consolidation of two bills as follows. A bill for an act to establish National Polytechnic Regulatory Commission and for related matters, HB 659, and a bill for an act to establish National Commission for Polytechnics and for related matters, HB 1287. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, Mewaki.
Colleagues, my name is Honorable Sanwa Aruf Nas, member representing Munjibur Ungogo Federal Constituency. I am from Kano State. I write second the motion moved by my honorable colleagues. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. The Committee of Rules and Business, please schedule a date for the commencement of the debate on the general principle of the bill. Respected colleagues, the seventh order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act and Act 2019 to prohibit late payment, non-payments, and underpayments of workers' wages and prescribe penalties for violations and for later matters. Standing now, Honorable Rotimi Aguswe. All members will call the bill were read the first time on Tuesday, 21st July 2022, and I invite Honorable Rotimi to move that the bill be read the second time. Chairman Rules.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Honorable Rotimi Ogose is voting on the floor. I move that item number 7 on the order paper be stepped down by the leave of the House. Also move.
Bill stepped down by the leave of the House. Respected colleagues, the eighth order of the day is commencement of the debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to alter Part 1 of the first schedule of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, to reflect the proper name of Ogbagu local government area of Anambra State and for little matter standing in name of Chukwuka Oyema. All members will recall that the bill was read the first time on 7th July 2022, and I invite Honorable Oyema to move that the bill be read second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Uzoma Nkem Abonta from Abia State, holding the brief and been permitted to do this bill on behalf of.
Yes, my brother, you are a very senior ranking member.
Let me conclude.
No, sorry, sir. Take it, sir. You are a very senior ranking member. You know that over years and time, we don't allow that because he may come back to claim I am not part of it. And I saw him among those who are protesting, who left the chambers. This should be the consequence for his own constituency. Thank you very much.
I want to beg you, I saw him among those who left the chambers. He knew he had something. So he can have it again. Thank you. We can't do that. Because if we can't do that, he knows the reason why he has done that to himself. We can't do that. I can't promise you that one. There has to be a remedy for every action. Thank you. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Honorable Chukwuka Onyema is not on the floor. I move that item number 8 on the order paper be stepped down by the leave of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Bill stepped down by the leave of the House. Respected colleagues. Honorable Banta, just in the last House, Honorable Onyema was in leadership. Is that what is desirous and expected of any leader? He was in leadership in the last House.
Now should be made to relax. Gradually we'll get there, God helping us. I don't want to repeat what has been canvassed, but methodology, approach matters in what we are doing. We may be on the same course, but we must do things in a manner that now will fray down and without hitting up. Mr. Speaker, like you said, we need to clean our table. I agree with what you said, but in cleaning our tables, if we begin to look at A and B and so we will not.
Not looking at A and B because he is my friend and he remains my friend.
I agree. That's why I asked if.
But as a leader, he's aware that he has a bill, but he decided to choose on the other part to abandon his people, to go and protest in favor of. So, thank you. Respected colleagues, the ninth order of the day is the commencement of a debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of Federal of Nigeria 1992 to strengthen the political party structure in Nigeria and for later matters, standing the name on Honorable Anthony Afe. Honorable members will recall the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 1st December 2020. I now invite Honorable Afe to move that the bill read the second time.
Look at him now.
Mr. Speaker, fellow honorable members, I remain Honorable High Chief Afe Anthony Obera Kwoife, member representing the good people of Okwe, Sapele, and Uvia Federal Constituency of Delta State. I move a motion for an act to alter the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to strengthen the political party structure in Nigeria and for related matters has been 1109. I beg to move.
Seconder. Honorable Miriam.
My name is Honorable Princess Miriam Odinaka Onoha. I represent the people of Isi Alambano, Onimo, Okigwe Federal Constituency. I am from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to second the motion, ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Honorable Miriam, they moved by who? Honorable Afi, in 2 minutes, give us the synopsis of the bill.
Mr. Speaker, I remain Honorable Afe Anthony Obera Kwoife. I'm a pure Deltan. Mr. Speaker, without boring you, this bill
has to do with amendment of section 222H of the 1999 Constitution as amended. We all agree with me that the 1999 Constitution has undergone several amendments and is still subject to amendment. So this bill has to do with amending section 22H to reflect the structures of political parties' participation in the electoral process. Before now, we all know that we had over close to 100 political parties in this country. And if not for the Supreme Court judgment that was given about 4 weeks ago, the parties that were even delisted, we are equally contending for the next 2023 election. But this provision, the amendment seeks to regulate the political parties that will contest national elections. We just seek that if any political party does not win a seat or 2 seats at the State House Assembly, such political parties should not exist. We all know that we have rights to have organizations. From organization manifest into political parties. But in the situation where we have over 200 parties, it makes it very cumbersome. But with this bill, that section or the structure of political parties in this country will be limited with the requirement. So if this bill is passed into law, I know the political parties in our ballot papers will be well structured and well defined. So the bill seeks to define the parties that need such requirement to have a limited political parties for presidential and governorship elections. That is just the essence of this very bill. I thank you, President Speaker.
I thought I should put the question. Omoncha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Uzoma and Kimabonta, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Abia. Mr. Speaker, I've been battling to understand the bill proposed by my very good friend. From his debate, he's asking that we alter the Constitution to say or to include that a party that fails to win seats or 2 seats at the State Assembly should not exist. I don't know if my friend is suggesting that parties are state parties. Are you saying that they will win from each State Assembly or at least one state to win the seat, or national? From the whole 36 states, they must win 2 seats in one state at least. In all the states, they must win 2 at assembly.
Mr. Speaker, you will agree with me
That Constitution cannot fight itself. Constitution cannot be altered or drafted in a way that it will be conflicting. There's absolute guaranteed right of freedom of association. This will limit some parties. You'll agree with me that some parties have some regional strength, even state strength. You'll agree with me that some parties thrive well in some certain regions. So if you prescribe now that if they don't win in Zamfara, for example, 2 seats, then they will, then they will no longer be a political party. Pride Adventure, crisis in one state makes it impossible for them to win a seat. I also think that there are parties that don't even win a seat at all. Already, our constitution or our policy or our rules had put it in a way that if you don't have at least 1 seat in the national parliament, you may be put in KIV. Now, trying to extend this to state level, winning 2 seats, will be doing the dangerous one. Some political parties, Mr. Speaker, like other clients, merely exist as a pressure group. They only exist to say their mind. Let me give you an example. There are more than 2, 3, 4 parties in America, but we hear only of 2. Others go their way to put pressure, say, this is what we want. They've not won any seat, or they don't win seats. Sorry? As a pressure group, yes. But there are political parties registered so. In Nigeria, there are a lot of political parties that they've not won even councillors. But their opinion also counts as a party. They have been invited to also say. The principle is that minority will have their say. Majority will have the way. So if we begin to do this the way my brother puts it, it only means that minority will not have a platform for their say. I should think that we'll reconsider it to make it a national matter for you to remain that win 1 seat at the national parliament. But taking it to the states and local government may make a freedom association radical in this democratic value. However, in the issue of democratic hearing, let it also go to second reading, but the committee, that will only increase their work, Mr. Speaker. But let it also go so that we can now look at it generally and look at what people say about it. But from my thinking, we should take a look so we don't hurt ourselves in trying to heal ourselves. I so argue, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The question now, if there's no in favor that the bill will raise the content, say aye. Against, say nay. That is subject. Clerk is invited to do the title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to strengthen political party structures in Nigeria and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Special Ad hoc Committee on Constitutional Review. Chairman rules.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Samfulata, represent the New York Creek Assembly Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the Justice. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that item number 10 on the order paper be stepped down by the leader of the House for further consultations. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Bill stepped down by the leader of the House. Respected colleagues, the 11th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to alter the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to change the name of Igbado South and Igbado North to Yewa North and Yewa South, and for later matter standing in the name Honorable Kolawole Lawal. All members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 4 December 2019, and I invite Honorable Lawal to move that the bill be read second time.
I press it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Kolawole Lawal. I'm from Ogun State. I represent the contented and fantastic people of Yewa South, the Ipokia constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that a bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to change the names Igbado South and Igbado North to Yewa North and Yewa South, and for related matters, House Bill 546. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder. Zainab. Next.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Zainab Gimba. I represent Bamanga Lakala Balge Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the bill proposed by Honorable Kolawole Lawal to change Igbado South and Egbado North to Yewa North, Yewa South, and related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker. I so support, Mr. Speaker.
In 1 minute. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. This is an important matter of detail that has been an issue of great public concern in the area of Ogun State called Yewa Land, formerly Egbado Division. And it relates to the apparent but unfortunate act of omission on the part of the framers of the 1999 Constitution, most probably arising from lack of relevant knowledge. The draftsmen appear to have been unaware of the popular change of regional and sub-ethnic name of Egbado to Yewa in consequence of the findings of a commissioned research. This research arose out of a book written by Emeritus Professor Anthony Ashiwaju, The Birth of Yewa Land. And in the book, the entire Yewa Land resolved that the area then referred to as Egbado be renamed Yewa. Subsequently, the Egbado National Council and all the private institutions whose names included Egbado then were replaced with Yewa. Examples are Yewa National Council, Yewa College Ilaro, Yewa High School Bogila, Yewa Diocese, Owode Egbado now Owode Yewa. The publication of this research, as well as they organized a series of popular meetings by our people, this name was adopted. And then there was a gazette by the Ogun State government to change the name since 1995 from Egbado to Yewa. Mr. Speaker, I have the gazette with me here from Ogun State government. I don't know why the drafters of the Constitution in 1999 forgot or refused to change the name from Egbado to Yewa at that time. Mr. Speaker, I hereby pray that this House should please allow this name to be changed in the Constitution from Egbado to Yewa. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sir. Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abrazak Namdas. I represent the good people of Ganye, Jada, Tokuma, Zolwa. I'm from Adamawa State, Mr. Speaker. I am also the Gangui of Ganye.
Sorry.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to talk on the bill to change the name of Egbado South, Egbado North to Yewa North to Yewa South. With due respect, it's his constituency. He has the right to move for that. There's nothing wrong with it. But Mr. Speaker, I want to draw our attention to what happened in the 8th Assembly. In the 8th Assembly, we just had a situation in your own state, where what was called Bari Kiladi to Bari Kiladi. The only difference then was just to change the I
to Gosh.
To Gosh. We had a whole session. We debated on what we agreed at the end of the day, because I was a member of the Constitutional Review Committee at that time, is that if we begin to agree to change names of local governments, then the constitutional amendment process will start bringing issues of people changing names, making researches, and if care is not taken, attention of the whole National Assembly will be focused on issues that are not even serious for the country at the moment. As good as the intention of the people will like. But you know, we are talking of Nigeria with 360 constituencies. And I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, even in my state, in many other places, there are people who want these names to be changed. And we have to look at it with caution. I agree with him. His people will be happy. But we have to look at it because other people might deny this opportunity. And if this is allowed, then they were opening the gates to bring in a lot of changes of names. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
I think we may not need to overheat the matter. First, it's about history. No, 2 minutes. We have a lot on the other paper, and I think
nothing but canvas, because if they have the capacity to canvas within the 36 states and get to that, it should not be our own issue. It's about history. I don't know. Do you have anything to reply? No, Honorable, I want to beg of you so that we make progress. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am not going to oppose him, but I'm going to throw more light, more so in view of what the last speaker had argued. You can't give people names they don't want to bear. He's not saying change boundary, but he got to tell us that from that local government there should be a resolution, from the state assembly there should be a resolution to say this is what we want, not just what he wants. Excuse me, and have the floor. So he got to furnish us with the resolutions to say, my people want the local government about the deal should, the local government should produce a resolution with signatories, the chiefs, the other, so that we can be sure that we can't give the names they do not want. There must be printers devil. Typological error could come, a change of name could come. So they are not asking for boundary adjustment, they are not asking for any exclusion or inclusion. They are saying, this name here, Mr. Speaker, we need to make Nigeria work. Some people, just the name they gave them is making them boil. So if that will cool them, fine. I agree with you, but you have to satisfy the requirement. Give us a resolution from your local government, from your state assembly, to say this is what we want, not your opinion. You represent them, but not your opinion, but the kind of people you represent. You are yet to furnish us. I've not seen that the people have asked you to say what you are saying, and then we'll agree with you. So that's what I wanted to add.
Kolawole.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I said in my debate here that there was a summit by the entire people of the area, and in 1994, 1995. No, there's a gazette by the government of the state where the name has been adopted, and all the names bearing Egbado has been changed to Yewa as we speak. As we speak, all the names have been changed to Yewa. It's just to change the name from the listing on the chapter of the Constitution to Yewa instead of Egbado. That's what we need. It's not that we don't want to change anything. Thank you.
I don't know. Those in favor that the bill is content say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Bill, clerk is invited the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1999 to change the names Egbado South and Egbado North to Yewa North and Yewa South and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Special Committee on Special Ad hoc Committee on Constitutional Review. The Special Committee, the 12th order of the day is a motion on the extension of time for submission of report on bills by the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services. Standing now, Honorable Awoka Fulata. Honorable Fulata is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Berniwa Krika Samaguri Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, extension of time for submission of reports on bills by the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services pursuant to Order 18, Rule 3G of the Standing Rules of the House of Representatives. House notes that the bills listed below were referred to the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services as follows. 1. Federal Polytechnic Zandi Plateau State Establishment Bill 2019, HB 184. Federal University of Agriculture and Technology, Tarauni Establishment Bill 2019, HB 584. Federal College of Education, Monguno Establishment Bill 2019, HB 217. Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act Amendment Bill 2020, HB 116, 193, and 880. Federal Polytechnic Rano, Kano State Establishment Bill 2020, HB 929. College of Education, Omu Oran Establishment Bill 2019, HB 131. Federal College of Agriculture, Kacha, Niger State Establishment Bill 2020, HB 403. Federal
College of Education, Owarji, Bauchi State Establishment Bill 2020, HB 520. Federal College of Agriculture, Ijebu, Ijesha, Establishment Bill 2019, HB 322. Federal Polytechnic, Abi, Cross River State Establishment Bill 2019, HB 349. Federal University, Oye Ekiti Act, Amendment Bill 2019, HB 212. Federal College of Education, Technical, Ikirun, Osun State Establishment Bill 2019, HB 532. Federal University of Sports, Afuze, Edo State Establishment Bill 2019, HB 628. Federal University of Agriculture and Technology, Orero Arorakpe Establishment Bill 2020, HB 663. Federal College of Education Technical, Ako Agogo Iwoye, Ogun State Establishment Bill 2019, HB 430. Akanu Ibiam Federal University of Technology, Nwana Establishment Bill 2020. Cognizant of the provision of the Act, cognizant of the provision of Order 18, Rule 3G of the Standing Rules of the House of Representatives and the time limit for committees to treat referrals within 60 days, concerned that due to the logistics challenges to conduct public hearings on the bills listed above, the committee has been unable to conclude work on the referrals. House resolves to grant the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services 4 weeks extension to enable it to conclude assignments on the report to the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, Anayo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. My name is Onabanayo Edwin. I represent the people of Ezama to share the federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ebonyi State. I rise to second the motion as moved by Honorable Flatter as a second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. The 13th order of the day is a motion on need to increase the security around schools across the country, standing in Honorable Benjamin Mzundu and one other honorable member. Honorable Mzundu is invited to move the motion. Is it Professor? There's one other.
Mr. Speaker, Julius Ihonvere, representing Owan Federal Constituency, Edo State, I rise to move the motion on the need to increase security around schools across the country. The House notes the increasing insecurity in Nigeria, which has become a worrisome development irrespective of class, religion, or ethnicity. Also knows that since December 2020, hundreds of teachers, students, and pupils have been abducted from schools across the country, further highlighting a troubling development in the country's kidnap for ransom crisis, which has now become a money-making business. Recalls the abduction of nearly 300 students from Government Girls Secondary School, Jangibe, in Zamfara State on 26 February 2021, and 27 boys and their teachers from the school in Kagara, Niger State, which happened within the space of 10 days. Worried that the weak or non-existent security infrastructure in most schools across the country leaves the children vulnerable to attacks and other negative influences, hence the need to provide primary resistance against intruders and protect school facilities. Cognizant of the need to deploy modern technology in the provision of basic security measures in our schools, resolves to urge the Federal Ministry of Education to work out appropriate modalities for the provision of basic security and safety measures to protect schools in Nigeria, to mandate the committees of basic education and services, tertiary education and services, and legislative compliance to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Seconder. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Henry Wauba, representing the enterprising people of Mbitoli Keduru Federal Constituency of Imo State. I rise to second the motion as moved by Professor Julius. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Motion referred to Committee on Basic Education. Respected colleagues, the 14th order of the day is a motion on call to formulate a tax policy on sugar sweetened beverages in Nigeria. Standing name Honorable Abubakar Hassan Nalaraba. Honorable Nalaraba is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my highly respected colleagues. This is the motion on a call to formulate a tax policy on sugar-sweetened beverages food in Nigeria. The House knows that over the past few decades, a rapid increase in sugar-sweetened beverages, particularly carbonated soft drinks consumption, has grown parallel with the development of a diabetes and obesity epidemic in many countries of the world. Aware that Nigeria has the 4th highest consumption rate of sugar-sweetened beverages, soft drinks globally, owing to the accessibility and affordability, soft drinks have become a natural choice for many Nigerians. Also aware that the temporal patterns in the increasing consumption of these sugar-sweetened beverages, SSBS, particularly carbonated soft drinks, have paralleled the rise in the prevalence of diabetes, obesity, and overweight. Concerned that children are given sugary drinks with meals every day, shifting their preferences from healthier choices, the excessive consumption of sugary drinks can increase the likelihood of developing non-communicable diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and some cancers. Worried that over 4 million Nigerians suffer from diabetes, the number is expected to rise as many Nigerians cannot afford the high cost of treatment, which is estimated at between $3.5 billion to $4.5 billion per annum. Lost hours of productivity result in direct and indirect economic costs of governance. Further worry that...
Sir, I think my humble colleague is not reading from what we have.
Okay, let me read from what you have.
Please continue from that place. Continue from where you started.
Worried that over 4 million Nigerians suffer from diabetes and the number is expected to rise as many of them cannot afford high cost of treatment, which could lead to loss of man hours and productivity, thereby resulting in economic loss of government. Also worried that beverages are loaded with sugar equivalent of 5 teaspoons per serving, and 91% of such products have no front label indicating their composition. Cognizant that few policies exist to curb the excessive consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages, thus a tax policy on sugar-sweetened beverages will discourage marketers and consumers alike from creating an environment of unhealthy indulgence. Resolve, the House resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Health and relevant agencies to A. Ban the use of dishonest packaging claims and make it mandatory for all sugar-sweetened beverages to indicate the sugar content and health risks on the product. B. To tax sweetened beverages by introducing a specific excise duty of 5% to 10%. 3. Mandate the committees on healthcare services and legislative compliance to ensure compliance and report back within 4 weeks for their legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Nandas.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abdrazak Namdas. I represent the good people of Ganye, Togo, Oil from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my colleague as so second.
Mr. Colleagues, this is a very straightforward motion. So there's an amendment coming from Abonta. Mr. Abonta.
Uzoma Nkim Abonta, I'm from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, listening to the body of the motion, I came to the conclusion that prayer 1B to tax sugar sweetened beverages by introducing the excise duty 5 to 10% be deleted. Reason being, prayer A says they must disclose their content. If we do this, we'll be transferring the burden, the cost to the consumers. I'll give you an example. Coca-Cola. The more you
are not debating it.
I'm not debating, I'm just saying.
You have already moved the amendment, so it's for you to get a seconder. Thank you. Any seconder? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, respected colleagues. I remain Honorable Barrister Vincent Ekene Ofumelu. I represent the good people of Anambra State, starting from Oyi, Ofoyi, and I am in federal constituency, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the amendment as moved by my colleague Abonta. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the 15th order of the day is a motion on need to curb the scourge of casualization of employment in Nigeria, standing in the name of Honorable Tajuddin Ademi. Honorable Ademi is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Tajuddin Adebisi, and I represent the good people of Idori, Ifedore Federal Constituency. I am from Ondo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to move the motion on the need to curb the scourge of casualization of employment in Nigeria. The House notes that the casualization of workers has assumed a worrisome dimension in private and public sectors, with employers capitalizing on the high level of unemployment to subject workers to servitude under deplorable working conditions. Also note that the statistics from the Nigerian Labour Congress indicates that many workers in the telecommunications, oil and gas, mining, steel, banking and insurance industry are on casual employment. Aware that Section 7.1 of the Labour Act 2004 provides that no worker should be engaged on probation or temporary employment for more than 3 months. Also aware about the agitation by various stakeholders such as the Nigerian Labour Congress, the Trade Union Congress, and other non-governmental organizations of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to develop a political way to enforce compliance with decent and acceptable working environment in Nigeria. Worried about daily reported cases of workers who had worked for several years as casual workers or contract staff without being regularized, and the gory details of foreign firms, mostly Indian, Chinese, Lebanese firms physically assaulting and resisting the movement of the workers and exposing them to various industrial hazards. Further aware that the International Labour Organization recognizes the transition of employees from temporary to permanent employment within 3 to 12 months of their contract, but in one of its reports, Nigeria was grossly indicted on account of frequent termination of contract workers' employment when they became qualified to be considered for permanent employment. Concerned about the emotional and psychological effects on the casual workers and contract staff who are arbitrarily dismissed at the whims and caprices of their employers without any benefits whatsoever and lack of legal status, which make them dispensable at the convenience of their employers. Resolves to condemn the continuous and persistent casualization of workers and the degrading treatment meted on them by the employers. call on the federal government to put mechanisms and policies in place to ensure that employers of labor conform to internationally acceptable standards of employment. Mandate the Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Seconder, Honorable Lawal.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Mudalawal Umar. I represent Toro Federal Constituency from Bauchi State. I stand to second the motion moved by Honorable Adefisori. I so second.
Oshoba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Olumide Oshoba representing Abeokuta North, Obafemi and Odera Federal Constituency. Yes, sir. I have an amendment on prayer 2. Call on the federal government to put mechanisms and policies in place to ensure employers of labor conform to international acceptable standards of employment and our local content laws. The reason why most of the employers do casualization is because they use foreigners for the top positions and use our own citizens for the lower casual positions. Thank you.
Seconder to his amendment. Nelaraba.
To second the amendment ably moved by my brother Honorable. I so second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Against say nay. Further amendment?
Function of the economy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a function of the economy, really. As much as I appreciate my brother for this motion, if the economy is working well and an employer of labor is running his business well, he will not have any need to go into capitalization. Like in the oil and gas industry, they have been battling this with labor for so many years, and labor has not won that battle. They have not. Because if the price of crude oil is $100 today and it goes to $30 tomorrow.
My brother Sajos, as experienced as you are, which I know, we have already passed that space of debate. But I would disagree with you in total. It is a function of applying our laws, not the economy. The economy may be very buoyant and excellent, but if we don't apply our laws, our people will continue to suffer that scourge by the bourgeois like you.
Mr. Speaker, let me tell you something. Hands-on. This is hands-on. If you say don't casualize, and I will say, okay, fine. Instead of having 20 people in my employment, I will take only 5. Only 5. What happens to the 15?
What we want to have is protection of our citizens. And that is what the Constitution says. We should protect our citizens in terms of their welfare, life, and property. That's the primary function of any government. And that's why those laws are made. And they are standard. If you have up to 20 in your own, you can put down casualization. It's not allowed. And there is a maximum limit which you can put a casual laborer or employee into your own system. All these are contained in labor laws. So I want to beg to put the question. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Honorable Tajidin. It's a beautiful one. Respected colleagues, the existing order of the day is a motion on need to rehabilitate Owerri Muwaka or Lu Road, standing in Honorable Henry. Honorable Henry is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, Henry Wauba, representing the enterprising people of Mbitoli-Keduru Federal Constituency, coming with an infrastructure motion in my constituency on the need to rehabilitate Owerri Umuaka Olu Road. The House notes the deteriorating rate of road infrastructure in the Southeast Zone that is currently affecting the economic activities of rural dwellers, especially during rainy seasons. Also notes that Owerri Umuaka Olu Orodo Road connects 4 communities and a big market at Nkorodo, serving over 20 towns in the Mbitoli local government area of Imo State. Aware that the spur of the road, which links Umweze, Ofekata, Nkorodo, and Ubaheze, has been abandoned by various successive governments for more than 20 years. Also aware that the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has commenced rehabilitation of 2.7 kilometers of the road. Worried that the dilapidated state of the road has increased the rate of unproductivity, poverty, and crime, the consequences of which rendered most residents displaced. Cognizant that if rehabilitation of the road is not executed, it will affect the economic development of the communities. The House resolves to 1. Urge the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to include the rehabilitation of Owerri Umuaka Olu Road, linking Umweze, Ofekata, Nkorodo, and Ubaheze communities in any of the emergency intervention funds available for immediate remedial action. And 2, mandate the Committee on Federal Roads Maintenance Agency to include the road in the 2022 budget. Thank you.
Seconder, Honorable Ladan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. I am Mukhtar Shehu Ladem by name. I represent Magharibi Kudan Federal Constituency. I am from Kaduna State. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by my respected colleague. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Motion referred to the relevant committees of the House. Respected colleagues, the 17th order of the day is a motion on call for the rehabilitation of Logum Federal Polytechnic and Cottage Junction to Oke Gade Road, Ede, Osun State, standing in now Honorable Bamidele Salam. Honorable Salam is invited to move the motion. Chairman rules.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Honorable Babidele is not on the floor. I move that the motion be stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Motion stepped down by the leader of the House. Respected colleagues, the 18th order of the day is a consideration of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Sapenwa, Ogoni, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 26 March 2021. The leader will move for its consideration. Deputy Leader.
Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, I am Comrade Peter Ohionze J. Akpatisin. I represent Akoko Edo Federal Constituency. I'm from Edo State. I move that a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Sapenwa, Ogoni, and for related matters, HB 1219, from the Senate leader be read for the third time. I so move.
Seconder. Adi.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abdulrazak Namdes. I represent the people of Ganye, Jaga, Tongoma, Belwa from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as consideration of the report as raised by the Deputy Leader. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say no. Aye. There's a bit. Respected colleagues, the 19th order of the day is considering of bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Credit Administration to ensure effective credit management practice and set standards and skills to attain by persons seeking to become professional credit managers in Nigeria and related matters. All members would call the bill was committed to Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 28 July 2020. Honorable Abdul Mumin Adi is invited to move for his constitution.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, by name, Honorable Ari Mohammed Abdul Mumin, member representing Nasarawa Total Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I represent Nasarawa. Member representing Nasarawa Total Federal Constituency. Speaker, I stand to move a bill for consideration for an act to establish the National Institute of Credit Administration to ensure an effective credit management practice and set standards and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become a professional credit management in Nigeria as for related matters. I so move, sir.
Seconder. Yes, sir. Honorable Zainab.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion, the bill moved by Honorable Abdul Mumin Ali to establish National Institute of Credit Administration to ensure effective credit management and set standards and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become professional credit managers in Nigeria. I so second, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Zainab Gimba. I represent Bamangala Kalabali Federal Constituency.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's a bit. Respected colleagues, the 20th order of the day is consideration of bill for an act to establish the Federal Polytechnic Cocoa Delta State to provide for the equity and access to tertiary education in the country, make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters. Honourable members recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 21st November 2019. Honourable Thomas will move for its consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Honorable Thomas is not on the floor. I move that the consideration of the report on his bill be stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Consideration of the bill stepped down by the leader of the House. Leader, move that the House
do resolve into the committee of the whole to consider the bills.
I am Comrade Peter Ohiozuja Partisan representing Akukwede Federal Constituency. I move that the House do resolve the committee of the whole to consider a report. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Acting Whip.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abdulrazak Namdas. I represent the good people of Ganye Jada Tongo Mayoberan from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second that the House do constitute the committee of the whole. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. The House is hereby resolved into committee of the whole to consider reports. Respected colleagues, the first report to consider is for the establishment of Federal University of Environmental Technologies, Sakwema, Ogoni, and for later matters. I now invite the leader of the House to give us the synopsis of the report. The bill.
Mr. Chairman, this thing cannot.
I think we need to step down the constitution.
Yes, I move that the House do step down consideration of this report.
For two obvious reasons, so that you now do the correction. Bills that are coming from the Senate are supposed to automatically be rolled out by the leadership of the majority leader or leader of the House. What they're supposed to have is first the briefing. And if there's no briefing, you don't expect somebody to come and defend what is in. And from even the caption, what we have on the report is different from what is contained on the other paper. So you have to sort them out so that we'll do the justice next time to the bills. Respected colleagues, the second report to be considered is that of the Institute of Credit Administration to ensure effective credit management practice and set standards and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become professional credit managers in Nigeria and for related matters. Honorable Adi is invited to give synopsis of the bill.
See this. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, respected colleagues. My name is Honorable Ari Mohammed Abdul Mumin, member representing good people of Nasarawa Total Federal Constituency. Mr. Chairman, sir, the bill on an act to establish the National Institute of Credit Management Administration. Sir, the bill is seeking for a greater way of handling the credit management in Nigerians today. As it happens, we have different institutes. We have Institute of Architectures in Nigeria today. We have Chartered Institute of so many dimensions. Sir, it's today, when you look at all the developed countries, areas like US, UN, and UK to mention, when you travel, it makes one easy and convenient. You use your cards, mentioned as credit cards, to get in to any shops, make sure you get what you want at a convenient way. Nigeria as a developed, let me mention Nigeria as a developed country as well, a giant in the Africa, it requires to have a similar way of doing things like what is happening in all developed nations. In view of that, sir, Mr. Chairman, we now write the bill is seeking for this management of these credit issues in Nigeria today. With view that my colleagues will support me to see how this bill is going to scale through, it's going to be to the benefit of Nigerians and Nigerian economics as well. Thank you, sir.
No, it's just for consideration now, clause by clause. Except if you are issue, clause 1. Clause 2. Clause 2. Clause 3. Seven. 9. 12. 15. 19. 26. 7. 27. Guide us. Schedules. Explanatory memoranda. Chairman will move that we revert to plan to report progress.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata, I represent Birniwa Creek and Samuel Gudi Federal Consortium. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa. Mr. Chairman, I'm from Jigawa State. Chairman, I move that the House will revert back to plenary to report progress. I so move.
Shetima Mborgu. Shetima Mborgu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Jafar Muhammad by name, Shatima Mbargu,
representing Borgu Agorafra constituency, I stand to second the bill. Motion? Is it motion? Okay, I'm here to second the motion. Okay, revert to the preliminary. Thank you, sir. So move, sir.
Thank you.
So support. Nina Bugada.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. The House will hereby to revert to plenary to report progress. So that I don't forget my phone. Respected colleagues, the House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Sekpema, Ogoni, and for later matters, and deferred the further consideration of the report accordingly. Respected colleagues, the House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to establish the National Institute of Credit Administration to ensure effective credit management practice and set standards and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become professional credit managers in Nigeria, and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 27, the schedules, the explanatory memoranda, and the long title of the bill of the report accordingly. Yes. Move for the adoption of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Obakar Samfulata. I represent Birniu and Greek Asama Gudi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole. I so move.
Vincent.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, respected colleagues. I remain Honorable Vincent Ekene Ufumelu, Esquire. I represent the good people of Oyi, and I am a federal constituency. I am from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that for adoption of the report. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Move for the adjournment of the House to tomorrow, 11 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Birniu and Greek Asama Gudi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I do move that the House do adjourn to tomorrow, the 9th of June 2021, 11 a.m. I so move.
Acting Whip.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abdrazak Namdas. I represent the people of Ganye, Jada, Tongoma, Evalua. I'm from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion for the adjournment of the House to tomorrow, 11 a.m. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. House is hereby adjourned to tomorrow, 11 a.m.